Thank you, Paul.
Okay, I'm recording now.
Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. We don't want to waste people's time who got here and are ready to go. Thank you so much for coming. I know there's a lot of information out there and a lot of questions out there about what we're going to come back to school soon. What does that look like? I know it's been a long time since kids have been in school here at the high school level anyway. And so we want to make sure it's as smooth as possible when everyone comes back to school. We want to make sure that the safety rules and everything are well known. So we have got a number of slides here. And as Mr. Shaber just said, one of my assistants is hosting us here tonight. And as he said, will be recorded. It will be posted on our website along with frequently asked questions and other things. So hopefully after tonight, let's go to the next slide. We'll go to the goals for tonight. The goals for tonight, we want to make sure that when you leave here, I'm going to move this over so I can see a little bit better. There we go. When you leave tonight, you have a better understanding of the rules and protocols of returning to school at Hanford. You will hopefully ask all your current questions regarding returning to school at Hanford. If you have questions, make sure you get them asked tonight. As you know, I didn't say you will get them all answered. We'll do our best to answer them. It depends on how many questions come up. And as you chat your questions, we'll try to get those answered as well. The next thing is another goal for tonight is you'll know where to get your future questions answered. Like I said, on the website, we will post everything that we have here that we talk about tonight. Hopefully you'll be able to understand the class schedule upon returning. I know it's scattered a little bit, but we'll go over that to let you know exactly when your student needs to return or can return, and we'll talk about that. And mainly that you will know that we care about our students here at Hanford High School. All schools do. We really care about the kids. We want to make sure they come back safely, as well as get a good education from Hanford High School. So those are our goals for tonight. Moving on for our plan for tonight, how this will run is I will present one informational topic at a time. And then after I'm done with that, hopefully as I'm presenting a topic, you'll have some questions. You can chat those questions. Mr. Shaber will get those. And then we'll pause a little bit in between topics so we can answer some of those questions per topic. Okay, so we won't give out a whole lot of information before we look at some questions. And so we'll answer those common questions. Also, if your question does not get answered tonight, we will continue to answer questions, put them on the FAQ that'll be on our website so you can continue to look at that and get other questions answered. Also, our contact information and everything's on the website as well. So you can contact us at any time to get any questions that you may have answered as well. And again, Mr. Paul Shaber, one of my assistants, he's hosting us here tonight. So that's whose voice you heard a little while ago. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. We already mentioned, sorry, the Zoom has been being recorded. FAQs, we talked about that. Back to school schedule. A lot of people ask about what that is. That is also on our website. But we'll go over that a little bit tonight as well. Our contact information is on the website. And I keep saying our website. There it is right there. Hanford.rsd.edu is our website that has all the information on it. Also, very important, if you haven't been getting emails from us, we may not have your email address. So if you've not been getting emails from us, then make sure you contact us and give us your correct email address. I have right there to update your information. You can email erica.george@rsd.edu. She's our receptionist. She will take down that information and make sure that gets changed in our system. So if you have updated phone numbers, updated email, it's real important we have that. So when we send out information, that you will get the most recent information and the up-to-date information as we send those out. So again, if you haven't been getting emails from us, text messages from us, make sure we have your right contact information. Okay. All right. One of the questions that we have that we're going to start with tonight is, does my student have to return on site? The answer to that is no. Your students can either come back to school when it's time, or they can stay at home and Zoom. So either one works. Buses will be running. Another question people ask, buses will be running, but they will have about half as many students as before. So as you know, we're on an A track or a B track. And so only half as many students will be here on campus. So that means only half as many students would be on the buses as well. Some people say, well, we had 3 people to a seat before. Are we going to have that again? Well, no, because only half the amount of students will be coming at one time. But so students will, whether they stay at home or whether they Zoom, they will get the same lesson from their teacher. The students here will have their teacher, or the students at home that are Zooming in will have that same exact lesson. So they can do either, be here or be at home. If you're on site, we just ask that the students that are on site follow the COVID safety rules, including wearing a mask the whole time that they're here. And we'll go over all those the protocols and the safety rules as we go through these different slides. And if a student doesn't want to wear a mask the whole time or doesn't want to follow these safety rules, they can certainly still Zoom from home and still get the same lesson. So we'll move on to the schedule. So when does a 9th grade, well, I promise we pause. I'm going to pause right now. Are there any questions so far, Mr. Shaver?
So far, there's nothing been typed in the Q&A box. Not sure if everyone realizes it's there, but nothing so far. So let's keep moving. And
Okay.
if they come up, then we'll get to them next time.
Okay. So when do the 9th grade students return on site? Well, this is a direct picture that I took from our website. So if you look on this here, Wednesday, February 17th, we will have our A group of 9th graders on site. So that'd be the first time that we're on site here at Hanford High School, and it's our just 9th grade only, but it's the A group for 9th grade. So you have an A track or you're on a B track. If you don't know which track you're on, make sure you contact us. We've sent out some emails on how to determine that, but make sure you know which track you're on, A track or B track. Again, if you're on the A track, you come on the 17th. And if you're on the B track, you come on the 18th, and that's 9th graders. That's the first time they return to school. 9th graders will have those in classes in person, and then the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will be Zooming in on those days. And then here we go to the rest of them. The 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, when do they return? The following Monday, so the 22nd of February. Again, this is right from our website. The A group for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will return. And then on the 23rd, the B group will. And then after that, it's every Monday and Wednesday is the A group. Every Tuesday and Thursday is the B group. And it's got our times right there. So these are, you will Zoom in to classes if you're at home. And if you're here, you'll go to these classes during these times. So we'll have a full day of classes, just as if you were here. And if you are here, and if you're at home, you just Zoom in during those same times. And then the day that you're not here, you have asynchronous work. For the opposite group. And then Fridays are all asynchronous. There's no Zooming into classes on Fridays. It's just asynchronous work. Okay. Any questions? Did that bring up any questions?
Yeah, we know I got a couple. First question is, does a student need to notify their counselor if they intend to Zoom only for now?
Great question. No, you don't. Whether you Zoom, whether you're in person or whether you Zoom, attendance will be taken either way. So if you're in person or you're on the Zoom call, attendance is taken, and that's how it works. So you don't have to notify your counselor because there's really nothing different. There's no different lesson or anything. It's just attendance will be taken if you're either on the screen or if you're in person.
Okay. Question is, will there be people on hand to help the 9th graders find their classrooms? That's a yes.
Yeah, great question. Yep, that's where you just have the 9th graders first so we can get them all where they need to go. We'll have some student helpers here. Of course, we'll be socially distanced or physically distanced, but we'll have some student helpers, and we'll have plenty of adults here to help them know where they're going before everybody else comes.
Question, can the students decide to Zoom sometimes and sometimes show up in person?
Yes, actually, what we ask you to do is if you just make sure that day you're doing the one thing, right? So if you come to school that day, then you're here to be in classes, and we'll go over kind of the rules about being on campus. But if you're here that day, if you can Zoom or you can be here in person. But you can, like I said, attendance will just be taken. But if you're here, you have to be in class. You can't go someplace here on campus and Zoom from your Chromebook.
Question, are we going to meet state requirements for school days and hours? The answer is yes, absolutely. We've been watching that very carefully. Question about the schedule, asking why we're not moving forward every day of the week instead, and right now we're only moving forward on Mondays. Monday, Tuesday is the same lesson. Wednesday, Thursday is the same lesson. The question is why is it set that way? Do you want to take that one, Tori? Or
well, basically this was the schedule that was presented to the school board, and this is the one that's been accepted, and so this is what we're going forward with. There's going to be a lot of questions about maybe why things are done a certain way. Tonight, we're really not going to talk about those things. Are kind of done in the school board arena and things like that. Tonight, we're going to talk about just what we're going to do going forward, because we have a plan going forward, and that's the one that's been voted on and everything. So,
okay,
all right.
let's go ahead and move forward.
Okay, perfect. Well, then what needs to happen if you are going to come to school, if a student is going to come to school, go ahead and go to the next slide there. We need to do an attestation. So every student that comes to school needs to do an attestation. This is basically asking questions about, how you feeling, do you take your temperature, just to make sure everybody that comes into the building is safe and healthy. So this is going to be sent to your, to a parent's email the night before or the afternoon before, about 6 o'clock, usually about 6:06 exactly is when I get mine, the day before you come to school. And it's going to be emailed out to the parent's email address that we have on file. So we got to make sure, that's where you got to make sure your email address is up to speed. Make sure it's updated. So that will come out to you. You click on the link, you answer the questions for the student. And then what comes up after you're done answering the questions is if you're approved to come on campus, it's that picture that you have there, that green check mark that says approved. Okay. So if you're approved, it'll say that. If you check answer some questions where you may not be in the optimal health that they have on there, then you may say you're not approved to come to campus, and then you can do your Zooming from home. So here's the thing. They'll send you an email, you answer that, you get your green check mark. Now that green check mark is what gets you in to school the next day. So you take that green check mark, and since it's sent to a parent's email, the parent can take a screenshot of it, send it to their student's phone. They can do it right. The student can take a picture with their phone of their parent's screen, however they want to do it. We just have to have that green check mark and the date that it's done. As you can see it underneath approved, it says the date that was done. And then you come to school. If you don't do it the night before, that's okay. You can still come to school. You just do it when you get here. So when you get here, there's a QR code that you can scan, or there's a paper version, and we can do the attestation then. We're encouraging everybody to do it the night before, because that'll help things in the morning when they come to school, that we'll be able to get them right into school. So if we go to the next slide, I'll tell you how we're going to get into school. Okay, so this is a picture of our campus, bird's eye view here of our campus. So all students, when they come to school, they will enter through the door closest to their first class. Now, if they don't know where the first class is the first day, these doors will all work for the students. But after they start to figure out where their first class is, and 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will probably kind of remember where the classes are, but if they don't, that's all right. But we want to enter the closest door to, or the door closest to our first period class, or the first class that we're going to attend that day. Now, 0-hour entrances, if you look at this, 0-hour entrances will be on the north entrance. You can get the cursor on there. We can probably put it on there. But anyway, the north right there, the north entrance and the south entrance. Okay, that's for 0-hour entry. That's right next to the parking where kids park. Okay, so that's our 0-hour entrance. That will be open from 6:40 to 7 o'clock. So we can get the students in right there. Okay, now at 7 o'clock, those doors will close again. We are not going to have kids walking around in the hallways and things like that. Everybody that's in the school has to be at a designated place. So right when you're entered into the doors, you go right to class, right to 0-hour class. You go right inside the classroom. We'll talk about that in a minute, and you have a seat and you're there. So that's a 0 hour. Those doors again will lock at 7. So if you're running late to 0 hour and it's 7:05, you need to make sure that you come through the main entrance. Okay. The doors that will be open will be the main entrance, because somebody will be there, and that's where that loop is right there. Somebody will be there to say, and the student will have to say, I'm just a little late for 0 hour. Then they'll come in and they'll check them in, and then they can go to the 0 hour class. But if they don't have a 0 hour class, they have to wait until 7:30 is the first time they can enter the building. So if you don't have a 0 hour class, first hour doors will open at 7:30 and they'll be open until 8 o'clock. And that's where you have all these extra doors that they can go in. So they can still go in the north door, they can go in the south entrance, they can go in the main entrance in the front there where that loop is. If they have a class in the library in the middle there, they can go in that entrance. And they can go in what we call the ELA entrance, so that all the English classes are in the modular in the back there. And that's right there in the far right. So all those, they can go in any of those places for first period. Okay, so 0 hour just north and south. Once first period rolls around at 7:30, they can go into all those other doors as well. Okay, students again who arrive after 7:00 have to go to the main door. After 8 o'clock, the doors will be locked again, and then everybody from that point on goes to the main door. We're doing that so we can make sure that we get everybody checked in, everybody's done their attestations before they come into the building. Okay. Paul, questions about that?
Yes. First off, just a couple lingering questions from before. Question about Ben Franklin Transit. How many buses will they have running? Normal school year, they have 3 or 4. They will be changing their numbers of how many buses they have here based on how many kids they have riding it. So we can check with them, and we'll try to put that on the FAQ going forward. 11th grader coming new to the school. I promise we're going to help him out. If you want to send us his name and an email, we'll personally walk him around if you'd like. Question about how can we cover all the material 2 days a week? Mr. Christensen, you want to take that one?
Well, yeah, again, we're doing the best we can with the time that we have with our students. 2 days a week, they'll be in class. The other days, they'll have asynchronous learning. So the asynchronous learning will hopefully help them keep up to speed, get their information in and everything, so they'll be able to learn the material that they need to. Really, we're really 5 days a week. We're just 2 days kind of face-to-face, and 3 days where they continue to do the work in their classrooms. So hopefully it's more than just 2 days a week, but it is just 2 days a week face-to-face.
Okay. A couple questions about students with phones. Again, just to reiterate, students don't need their phone. That's just one fast way to get in. They can do attestations on paper. They can use their Chromebook to do an attestation. But a phone is a one quick way. They can just show them the phone screen as they're walking past, and it's a little bit faster. Someone asked can you bring a paper version of the check mark? So you fill out the attestation, get a check mark that has a date on it, print that out, and bring it to the school the next day. I guess that works.
Yep.
It's using a lot of paper, I guess, but if that's what that works well for you, and that's possible. Questions about kids who get sick during the day on campus. Tori, you want to take that one?
Sure. Kids that get sick, like all of a sudden they have a temperature or something like that, we just treat them like any other student that would get sick on campus. And I'll go over kind of what happens when you get in the classroom and stuff, that will kind of explain that. But if somebody gets sick, we'll get them down into the nurse's office. We also have the nurse's office. We also have a kind of a COVID symptom room to keep them separated. So then we can call parents and have them come get them, or make arrangements with parents if kids need to drive home or whatever like that, depending on kind of how sick they are and things like that. We just work with the parents.
Okay. Question about a 0 hour ELA entrance. There's only one class in the ELA building, 0 hour. So we're going to ask those kids to come through the north entrance and then go to the ELA building after that.
Let's continue to the next arrival, because I have a second half of an arrival screen.
Right.
Let's go to that one. So because this will answer some of those questions. So when you enter, we'll have two lines. So one line will be what we call the fast pass, or we can call the fast pass. They'll have that green check mark, and the student will show that green check mark, whether it's printed out or whether it's on a piece of paper or whether it's on their phone. They can go through and they can check. We can look and see that they've gotten it done, and they write in. And if they don't have it done the night before, then they can do it right there. So if they have the phone, they got a QR code, they scan that, they answer their questions, they get their green check mark, and they go in. Or we can do a paper version, then they can go in. And so however we can get them in that way with the two different lines at each station, that's the way we'll do it. The one thing, when you go right into the building, you go right to your first class, right? So 0-hour teachers, I've listed all the 0-hour teachers right there. And again, this will be posted so you can see it. But if you have one of these teachers also for first hour, and you come in at 7:30, those teachers will still be in their 0-hour class. So you won't be able to go right to their classroom. So if you have any of these teachers for first hour, what you need to do is report to the Commons. In the Commons, and you'll see a little bit later, I have a picture of the Commons. There are chairs that are there, desks that are there, all 6 feet apart. So you'll sit there in that desk or that chair with that desk until the bell rings to go to first hour, because we won't have kids walking up and down the hallways and things like that. So if you have any of these teachers that are on here for first hour, you'll need to report to the Commons prior to first hour, because they're all 0-hour teachers. Okay, so then basically students who don't attend 0 or first hour, so some kids may have TriTech in the morning, right? So they go to TriTech in the morning or whatever they're doing, and then they come to us and they have classes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th hour, whatever it happens to be, or maybe they do running start and then they come to school a little bit later. All those people just go through the main doors in the front where the loop is, where the flagpole is. Everybody come in that, because we'll have that, and then they'll be able to get checked in right there. All right, let's go to the next screen. And this is the classrooms. Okay, here's a picture of one of the classrooms. Desks are 6 feet apart, or at least the middle of the chair 6 feet apart. So you're 6 feet apart from the next person. So when a student comes into the classroom, there's hand sanitizer at the door. They'll hand sanitize when they go in. They'll wipe down their desks and their seats, basically, with a sanitizing wipe, and then they'll take their seat. For 0 and first hour teachers, within the first 15 minutes, they will get their temperature taken by one of those digital temperature deals on your forehead, and to make sure every student is under 100.4. If they are 100.4 or more or higher, they then will be sent down to the Commons area, where we'll have some people there to help them out, where we'll contact home and let them know that their temperature's too high to be at school, and then we'll make arrangements for them to go home and do their learning from home that day. All the classrooms, again, are arranged for safety, so there's enough seats between everybody to keep that 6-foot distancing. So that's how the classrooms look. Are there any questions about the classrooms, Paul?
Specifically about the classroom?
Yeah, the stuff that we've gone over at this point here.
Well, okay, so real quick, question about, can students use their lockers?
No. Nope. No. We're talking about that when we get to the hallway section. Yeah, students, we're not using lockers.
Okay. Can people sign up to get a text message with the attestation? The answer is yes. The first time you do the attestation, it'll ask you if you want a text message going forward, and it'll be sent to your phone. A question about tracking the attestations. The answer is yes. We have a dashboard that shows us who's done the attestation. But since we have approximately 1,000 kids coming through the door, and we want them inside and not standing out in the cold waiting for us to check every kid, that's why we're asking kids to bring up the check mark so that we can get them through the door quickly. They're not sitting outside in a line for the next 20 minutes waiting for us to look for names. Question about parking passes.
Good question. Everybody will get a parking pass who wants one. We're getting those squared away, or we'll get them out to the teachers to give them to the kids. So we're going to get that information out to you. It'll come in an email or a text message or an easy caller. It'll come out to you guys, and then you can, and we'll post it on the website, and we can get everybody everybody that wants one. Since we're only half the kids are going to be here at one time, this will be the 1 year that everybody will have a place to park.
Okay, let's move forward.
Okay. The next one is the bathrooms. We've had some questions about bathrooms. So this is how those will work this year. Every room that we have has a sign out the side of it, outside of the door, that says what the capacity of that room is, the maximum capacity. It's the same thing for the bathrooms. So here's the bathrooms, and on those yellow signs above the male and female bathroom signs, they have 0, 4, so that 4 people can go into the bathrooms there. You also see the little 4 hooks there, and then a hand sanitizer thing in the middle. So every bathroom has as many hooks on the outside of the bathroom as there are allowed people inside the bathroom. So if the bathroom is at capacity, you wait outside. And if you're in, and every teacher has a hall pass with a hook on it or with a ring on it that goes on those hooks. So you're in the classroom, you need to use the bathroom, you get the hall pass. First of all, you sanitize the hall pass, then you pick it up off the teacher's hook. You go to the closest bathroom with an open hook. There's an open hook there. You hang the bathroom pass on the hook. You go in and use the bathroom. When you come back out, you pick your pass back up, go back to class, sanitize it again, and hang it back up. So that's how the bathrooms are going to work. Again, in the bathrooms, things are blocked off that you can't use to make sure that we've only get 4 people in there at one time, and make sure everybody's physically distanced. So that's how the bathrooms work. Any questions about the bathrooms?
No, none about the bathrooms. The
Anything
questions are kind of trailing us a little bit. Let's move forward just a little farther, and then we can answer some more.
Okay. So we've got the next thing is breakfast and lunch. So food services, how does that work at Hanford? Well, right there's a picture right there of our commons. This is where students will eat. One of the places where students will eat. Well, let's go back to my little bullets here. Breakfast will be a pickup. So breakfasts are going to be picked up on Fridays from 10:30, 11:30, like we're doing now. But that'll be the breakfast for the whole week, and that starts the first Friday after we're back. So they'll pick up the breakfast for the whole week, and then they eat breakfast at home because we're not serving breakfast at school during the day. Lunches we are serving at school during the day. So lunch, you can pick up your lunch either in the Falcon Gym foyer or the Commons Cafe, which is right there where you're looking. And those are the 2 different places that you can pick up your lunch. So students will be released from their period. When it's time for lunch for them, they'll go pick up their food either at the Falcon Gym foyer or the Commons, or the kitchen area at the Commons. And then they will go choose a seat. The very first time they do it, the very first time they get lunch, they'll go choose a seat, but choose wisely, because if you see those little dots underneath the chair, underneath the desks, they all are numbered. Once you choose that seat, that'll be your seat for lunchtime. That'll be your seat for lunchtime for the unforeseen future, right? So that's where you'll sit every day for lunch. We need to make sure that we know where all the kids are due to contact tracing. And so we need to make sure that kids are sitting in the same seat. So the first lunch period, first time you're at lunch, you choose a seat, and then we're going to go around and write down your name and your number. So you will know, you'll know that's where you go every lunch period. So there's seats like this in the Commons. If you're eating in the Falcon Gym, we have places on the bleachers that you will sit and eat. So everybody has their own seat. They're all facing the same way, and for lunchtime, again, we can't have people in the hallways moving around and things like that. So during lunchtime, you're sitting in that seat for the duration of lunch. And then once the bell rings to where it's time to go back to class or go to your next class, then you can throw your trash away and then go to class. And our custodial staff will clean and sanitize all the desks and chairs prior to the next lunch class starting. Campus is also closed for lunch. So we we can't have kids leaving campus and coming back onto campus. So everybody will eat in the building, basically. Not being able to, not going out to their cars and out to different places that, you know, for lunch or whatever, Subway or whatever. Everything's right inside because we can't have kids leaving and not staying physically distanced and then coming back into the school. So all the schools are closed for lunch. So their campus is closed during lunch, I guess I should say. Okay, that is lunch. Do we want to take more questions?
Yes. Parent is concerned about lots of students indoors without masks during lunch, and asking about options there.
Yeah, what we've done is we've got in the biggest spaces we have, the gym and the commons, and we've keeping everybody socially distanced, and we're following the guidelines of the health district to make sure that, or health department, to make sure that everybody is as safe as we can make them. We also had some consultants come in to help us with the safety, and they've approved all of our plans here and helped us actually make these plans to be able to make sure all the students are safe.
I just like to add to that. Really impressive that our maintenance staff has set up the building so that it's possible to replace all of the air inside the building inside an hour during the day, which is pretty incredible. So the air is being circulated very, very well. Question is, can a student choose where to eat? Yes. The first day you get to choose, and then you have to stay there. Question, can students bring their own lunch? Absolutely. Question about running start at Wazoo during the day. How do they go back and forth? They're just going to have to come in through the main entrance, right?
Well, I'm not sure that Wazoo has classes at Wazoo. My understanding is they're all online.
Oh, right.
And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit when we go to the next, I think maybe the next section, or we will address that.
Okay.
Okay, hallways and passing time. So we have some 6-foot things along the hallways at some portions of the school. We're going to be as physically distanced as we possibly can be in the hallways. Everybody will walk on the right side of the hallways. So at the end of every class, students will sanitize their stations before they go out into the hallway, and then they'll go directly to the next class. Like we said before, there's no lockers. There's no just hanging out in the hallways and things like that. Everybody will go right to the next class. And again, 6-foot distancing is the goal there. Masks will remain on over their nose and their mouth while they're in the hallway and in class, but as well. And then the drinking fountains, as you can see there, all the drinking fountains are capped off. That red cup there is locked on. It's not just placed over it. I went and tried to lift it up just to make sure. And then the water bottle filling stations are open, however. So if students need water, make sure they bring a bottle with them so they can have some water during the day, which is a good idea. And so that's kind of how the hallways are going to work. When we're going up and down the stairs, just stay on the right side. We talked about different routes people could use and things like that. But if you've been to Hanford, you know there's a big, huge hallway that goes from the north end to the south end. And we wanted to make sure that people could take the shortest route to their classes and not have to walk all around the school just to stay in the same, like upstairs is one direction, downstairs is another direction, that kind of thing. So just stay to the right and go to your next class. The good thing is we're used to having about 2,000 students here during the day going through the hallways, and we'll have at the very most we'll have half that. 1,000 would be half of that, but really we're down to about 800 or so being half of that. And then some students will opt, based on the survey that we sent out about students coming to school or staying home, about 20 to 24% of the students are staying home. So we're really down to about 700 or so students in the building at one time. And so it'll be a lot fewer students than we're used to in the building at one time. So that should really help with our hallways and keeping everybody as distant as possible. We have questions, or we can move on, however that looks, Mr. Shaver.
There's assorted questions. I think maybe some of these we can wait until the end and we'll just go through everything that's left.
Okay. All right, dismissal and non-class time. So here's the running start question that had come up. So, so students really can only be on campus when they have class. Again, we can't have people like in the past, you know, school gets out and a lot of kids hang out in the commons and they, you know, chat with each other and socialize and things like that, or someplace else around the school, in a classroom, whatever. We're not doing that now for safety reasons. When class is over, it's time to go. And so, students can be on campus when they have a class, but if there's no class time, they need to be off of campus. Now, there's an exception to that, right? So the exception is, so you go into the athletic practice, whatever practice you have going on at the time, right? So then you go directly to that place and get that taken care of. Like most of those are outside anyway, right? So if you have practice and you can stay on campus, of course. If you're receiving extra help from a teacher and the teacher has invited you to their classroom between 2:30 and 3, that's perfectly fine as well. But you know, you're not in the hallways, but you're in actually a teacher's classroom, that's perfectly fine. And then the running start classes. So my understanding is that all running start right now is online, right? So kids aren't coming and going for running start. However, they could be here for a couple of periods and then have a running start class and then be here, you know, after the running start class, even though the running start class is online. So for those kids, they can come back to the commons. They can get on their Chromebook or their computer or whatever it happens to be where they need to attend class. I would suggest that they bring headphones because the commons is kind of a big place, could echo, and we want to make sure that everybody's in there is just paying attention to their one class. So if you're a running start student and you need to do your running start class here on campus, that's fine. Just go to the commons and sit at one of the desks, and then you can take care of it right there. If running start, you know, if Wazoo opens their campus and kids start going there, then they'll just, when they come back here, they just go through the front door. We'll know who those kids are due to running start, so we should be okay there. All right. Okay, we're down to the end here. So we're excited to have students back in the building. And once I finish this, we will obviously answer some more questions for you. We're excited to have kids back in the building. It's been a long time. One of our assistants did some, looked at it, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's been, you know, 350 days or so since kids have actually been in school. And so, and it's going to be a little different. It's going to be, you know, it's not going to be as social as it has been in the past. I, for one, am not going to be able to stand in the hallway and give high fives anymore. So it's going to be a little different for me. It's going to be a little different for our students and our parents and our community. But we really are going to try our best to make sure everybody is safe, and we're going to follow these safety protocols. Because as we work together to do this, then we'll be able to safely come back to school. And so I'm excited about that. Again, make sure you update your contact information. We got to, teachers will be emailing. We are emailing as a school, texting, those kind of things. We just need to make sure we have your information. Like this, for instance, this invite to this little meeting that we're having went out to 1,600 emails the other day, and 800 of them were opened, right? And so there was 800 emails that weren't opened. And so we got to make sure we not only have the right email, but that you're checking your email and you're opening the stuff from Hanford so we can get as much information out there as possible. Also, everything will be posted on our website so we can get that taken care of as well. And please let us know how we can help. Our contact information is on the website as well. So let us know how we can help, and we can answer your questions and get those questions answered on the website and all sorts of things. So just let us know. Thank you for coming tonight. Obviously, we're not done. We'll answer questions. That's all the information that I have for tonight. But if you have questions, we'll continue to answer those as we go. Again, the questions that we'll be answering will be things about these protocols and all, not why we're doing things, but how we're doing things. So any other questions, Paul, that we need to go over now?
Yeah, I'm just backing up. One question was, how do you update your contact information? That's right here on the screen now, erica.george@rsd.edu. Question about how PE is going to work with locker rooms and PE time. Do you want to take that one on real quick?
Sure. We're working on the PE situation. The locker rooms are going to be really, we're not going to be able to use locker rooms based on the physical distancing rules that we have. And so if you can't have locker rooms, it's going to be real hard to do PE stuff. And so the PE department's has met, and we're working on exactly what's going to happen with PE, but it won't be as you knew it before. The guidelines from the state are saying that if you're doing strenuous activity, there's got to be like 500 square feet per person or something for strenuous activity. So if you're breathing heavy, there can only be so many people around. It's no longer 6 feet apart. And so a lot of that's going to be different. They're still working on the details of that, but a lot of it will probably be the same kind of thing that they have been doing, where you can do the workout from home, do a walk or something for power walking, or get some exercise in that they have instructed you on how to do that, and then log that. And during the PE time, they can work on getting those logs taken care of. They can work on maybe some other work that they need to do. All that's still being updated. As soon as we come up with the final product there, we'll certainly let all students in PE know how that's going to look. It'll be a lot different than it has in the past, though.
Along with that, what about PE uniforms?
Yeah, we're not changing for PE, so you don't need a PE uniform.
Okay.
Because the locker rooms are closed.
What about a child that has PE 0 hour? Can they stay home and then come in for first hour?
That's a great question. And we'll have to work we'll see what the PE's final results are, and then see who the PE teacher is and how we can make that work. But that's sounds like something that we could probably look into for sure.
What about athletes changing after school for sports?
Yeah, we'll have to talk to coaches about how they're doing that.
Okay. A couple questions about students having 4th and 6th period class with nothing for 5th. I think we'd like them to go to the Commons during that time.
Well, we'll have to look into those schedules, because we were talking about that, and really we shouldn't have any open periods in the middle of the day. And so if that's the case, contact your counselor, because open periods should either be at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. Because in the middle of the day, if you don't have class, we either need to put you in a class, or we need to change your schedule maybe a little bit to make sure. Because when you don't have class, you really shouldn't be here unless you're a Running Start student and have to do it that way.
Okay. Question about the lunch menu that is on the district website. The district food service determines what the menu is going to look like. Question about people congregating around the garbage can at the end of lunch.
Yeah, we're going to spread out the garbage cans for sure. We're going to have a lot of garbage cans. We talked about that. We just ordered 25, 30 more. So those will be spread out so we don't have everybody congregate in one spot. Good question.
Can students use the bathroom between classes or only during class?
They can use the bathrooms. We're not going to close the bathrooms. We just ask that if it has its maximum capacity, that you wait outside on the dot 6 feet apart until somebody comes out.
Okay. Can parent volunteers come and help?
Great question. In certain aspects, parent volunteers can come and help. If you want to volunteer, just contact me, and I'll let you know kind of what we can have parents do and that kind of thing.
Question about students leaving, propping doors open. Our security people will be going around and making sure that we're really committed to the safety of our students. We've got a lot more people assigned to supervision all throughout the day, so we're really committed to that, and we're gonna do our best to keep all of your kids safe. Will students be encouraged to put their mask back on after they're finished eating, even when lunch hour isn't over yet?
Yeah, everybody will need to have their masks on unless they are physically eating at the time.
Okay. Will bathrooms be open during lunch?
Yeah, same thing as passing time.
All right. A parent is concerned about athletes carrying their gear around all day for after-school practice.
Yeah, they'll have to work with the coaches and figure out how to make that work. If there's a place they can put it or something like that.
Okay. School maps, there's one. Is there one on the website? I'm not sure if there is. I should put one
Check
there.
it out to make sure we have it. Yeah.
We have a bunch of copies in the front office, and I will put one on the website so that you can, that's downloadable, so that you can take a look at that at your own leisure. Question about kids lining up to grab lunch all at once. Did we talk through how the lunch line's gonna work?
We did. Well, kind of. I said that we have different areas where kids can pick up lunch. We've been trying to get as many as possible different areas where kids can go pick up lunch. Also, we'll release students from one area so they can go pick up lunch kind of that are closest to that area, and then we'll do the other side as well. And it's the same thing when it comes time to leave after lunch is over. We'll have different places the kids can exit out so everybody's not going the same way. And we'll explain that to the kids when we're there at lunch so we can kind of point out what's going to happen there.
Question about turning in lunch money. That's done through our website. You can, or the school district website, actually.
Mhm.
You can put that on from the comfort of your own home without worrying about that. But there really is no lunch money right now either. Lunches are free.
Lunch is all free right now.
Yeah, lunches are all free to every kid for right now. So certainly don't worry about that. Students be able to put their instruments somewhere during the school day. I would leave it in the band room. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
Coach?
Yeah, and we'll still have to. They're still working on how that's going to look as far as blowing on instruments and all that kind of stuff. That's still they're still working on how that looks. And so don't bring your instrument the first day unless you've been contacted by your teacher, a music teacher, and we'll figure that out as we go here.
Will the band locker room be open? Yes. And then there's someone who has their virtual hand up, but I don't know if you've typed your question into the Q&A box. If you could just type it in there, then we can do that. Oh, Mr. Jelnick has his hand up. Go ahead, Mr. Jelnick.
No, I'm good. We just I was looking to see who we could assist.
Oh, okay. All right, let's just hang out for just another minute. Not getting any more questions at the moment.
Okay, again, thank you so much. Now, all this stuff's going to be on the website. And if you think of questions, we will do the frequently asked questions and we'll be able to put those right on there as well. So we're going to make sure that we can make sure we get all your questions answered. Anything else, Mr. Shaver?
I think we are good for now.
Okay. Thanks again, everybody. We'll go ahead and let you go for tonight. And if you have any questions, again, our contact information's there. You can email us, call us, whatever you need to do. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to getting your kids back. If you choose to have them come back, and if they're just on Zoom, that's perfectly good as well. Either way, we'll get them educated. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.